The Manston Migrant Center scandal, a deep dive into allegations of neglect and inhumanity. The Manston Migrant Processing Center, a facility near Ramsgate, Kent, has become the epicenter of a burgeoning political scandal, sparking outrage over allegations of inhumane conditions and systemic failures within the British government. The scandal, which unfolded during the latter half of 2022, has led to calls for accountability at the highest levels of government, raising critical questions about the UK's asylum system and the treatment of vulnerable individuals seeking refuge. The initial reports painted a grim picture. Overcrowding, unsanitary conditions, and a lack of basic necessities became the norm, leading to outbreaks of infectious diseases, including diphtheria and scabies. The tragic death of Hussein Hasib Ahmed, a 31-year-old Iraqi man who succumbed to diphtheria while detained at Manston, serves as a harrowing testament to the severity of the situation. The dehumanizing treatment of detainees, identified by wristband numbers instead of their names, further underscores the callousness allegedly displayed within the facility. The government's response to the unfolding crisis has been met with widespread criticism. While Home Secretary James cleverly initially agreed to a full public inquiry into the events at Manston, an inquiry that would have the power to compel testimony from high-ranking officials, this commitment was later significantly weakened. Upon Yvette Cooper's ascension to the Home Secretary position in July 2024, the inquiry was downgraded to a non-statutory one, significantly limiting its power to hold individuals accountable. This change effectively stripped the inquiry of its ability to compel former ministers and even prime ministers to testify regarding their potential roles in the unfolding crisis at Manston. The consequences of this decision are far-reaching. The non-statutory nature of the inquiry means that key figures within the government, those who may bear the greatest responsibility for the failings at Manston, may escape scrutiny. Among those potentially implicated are former Prime Ministers Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak, former Home Secretaries Priti Patel, Grant Shapps, and Suella Braverman, former Defense Secretary Ben Wallace, and a host of other ministers and officials across various government departments. Their involvement, or lack thereof, in addressing the escalating humanitarian crisis at Manston remains a subject of intense public debate. The independent inquiry, now chaired by Sophie Cartwright KC, commenced its work mid-last month. Its terms of reference include a comprehensive examination of conditions at Manston between June 1st and November 22nd, 2022, focusing specifically on the treatment of asylum seekers and exploring whether preventative measures could have been implemented to avert the humanitarian catastrophe that unfolded. While the inquiry is empowered to hold some public hearings, the limited scope due to its non-statutory nature casts a long shadow over the pursuit of justice and accountability. The lack of a fully empowered statutory inquiry has fueled intense public dissatisfaction and criticism. Opposition parties have vehemently condemned the government's actions, arguing that the scaled-back inquiry lacks the teeth necessary to uncover the truth and hold those responsible accountable. Human rights organizations have also voiced their concerns, emphasizing the potential for a whitewash and the need for a thorough, transparent, and fully empowered investigation. The Manston scandal is more than just a localized incident. It reflects broader concerns about the UK's asylum system and the government's approach to managing migration. The lack of adequate facilities, the alleged disregard for human dignity, and the potential for political cover-ups have ignited a national debate on ethical considerations, governmental responsibility, and the treatment of vulnerable populations seeking refuge within the UK. The full extent of the failures at Manston and the individuals responsible remains to be seen. However, the intense scrutiny surrounding this scandal highlights the urgent need for a more compassionate, effective, and transparent asylum system, one that prioritizes the well-being of those seeking refuge and holds those in power accountable for their actions. The ongoing inquiry, despite its limitations, offers a crucial opportunity to expose the truth and ensure such a tragedy never repeats itself. The legacy of Manston hinges on the outcome of this inquiry and the government's willingness to address the systemic issues that contributed to this humanitarian crisis. The victims and the public deserve nothing less than a full and unfettered investigation. The eyes of the nation and the world remain firmly fixed on the unfolding events. The demand for justice, transparency, and meaningful reform is undeniable.